should never base your worth on acceptance when it comes to anything. People had that problem, like social validation.
All black people, the spokespersons, they're not leaders, they're spokespersons. They can ask, and then they can beg. They can go to the second thing. You can make a request, and when you ask twice, now you're begging. But we're all in position of being beggars.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers. All right, if you watch the video, like the video, drop your boy a comment, watch it all the way through to the end, and hit the links. Please, that helps your boy out. I'm trying to get that 1-to-1-to-1-to-1 ratio. That's what helps the channel grow, and I need the channel to grow, so help your boy out, all right? Anti-racism and allyship. Now, this is some diversionary social justice, and if y'all don't know about diversionary social justice, that's when they make it look like they doing something for you, and then that social justice takes a diversion. It go arc the other direction and helps everybody around you, and you sitting there wondering, well, what happened? I thought this had black written all over the papers, and I haven't seen anything come from this. And then you get the population at large, and all of the outraged people in the government turn around and say, well, see, you got this, see, you got that, see, you got that, while everybody else is benefiting off of it, and you're sitting there just looking like, what the hell happened? It's a derivative of benign neglect. I've talked about this before. I got a whole playlist on diversionary social justice, so if you're confused about what it is, go take a look at that playlist, all right? So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Anti-racism and allyship. Resources for the Airbnb community. Allyship. Airbnb's mission is to create a world in which anyone can belong anywhere, and racism in any form is an obstacle to achieving that mission. A world where we all belong takes all of us. We used to belong, you know what I'm saying, to our counterparts here in the United States, their families. We used to belong to them. A world where we all belong takes all of us. This week, we reaffirmed our commitment to this mission and our commitment to fight racism. In this spirit, Airbnb is donating a total of $500,000 to NAACP and the Black Lives Matter Foundation. So my first question is, where is this at? What'd they do with this? I know a couple people got some new houses. That's enough for a nice down payment on a house. A couple people from Black Lives Matter got some nice houses. But where's the money at though? Who benefited from this? Is there any black person around that got any of this money? Seriously, I have no idea what happened to this. I'd like to see some receipts on this. It'd be nice to see the accounting paperwork on this. And we are matching employee donations to these two organizations. So if they had any employees that donated, then they matched the donations. So they got over $1 million for this, all right? And they split the $1 million between Airbnb, or I'm sorry, they split the $1 million between Black Lives Matter and NAACP, all right? Now it says, in addition, Airbnb has shared an activism and allyship guide. An allyship guide, like that's just so bizarre. That was prepared by Black at Airbnb employee resource group to help support communities of color. Well, this is a problem right off the rip, because if it was prepared by Black Airbnb, then it should be to specifically help black people, and the people of color resource group at Airbnb should take care of people of color. So I don't understand that right there, all right? And so now here it says, as we work to process the tragic deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and countless others, we wanted to send a message to you directly. To hosts and guests who are hurting, angry, and scared, we want you to know that Airbnb stands with you. I don't understand why they think that we walk around hurt, angry, or scared. Like, we all know what time it is. Like, this is just trying to like reinforce that like people are weak. And it's also trying to reinforce that like everybody has some kind of emotional attachment to these situations. These situations are dead wrong, but they don't dictate my day. I'm sorry, but like white people victimizing other black people, it's horrible. It's not something that should happen all the time, but I'm not that intimidated of the system of illegitimacy where that just has me trembling in my boots. I you know what I mean? Like, I know it's there and I just have to bust it up really bad every time I confront it. I don't have time to be walking around knock-kneed and trembling because of what the system of illegitimacy thinks that it can do with impunity. I know that I plan to instill some very severe, deep, wide punishments if the system of illegitimacy comes from me. So I for them to assume that everyone just walks around intimidated is a little bit egotistical. Discrimination is the greatest threat to a community built on belonging and acceptance. But this is the problem though. What community is built on belonging and acceptance? Like, are they talking about the United States or are they talking about the community at Airbnb? Because we all know that the United States was absolutely not built on belonging and acceptance. It cuts to the core of who we are and what we believe in. Airbnb, so look, here we go. It says Airbnb stands with Black Lives Matter, and we reject racism, bigotry, and hate. So they stand with Black Lives Matter, which means that they stand with the ideas of what Black Lives Matter practices. And as we all know, it's the fantasy of the population at large to believe that every single black person identifies with Black Lives Matter. But that's, unfortunately, I know you all don't like being corrected, but that's just not the case for the 90 millionth time. And they say we're slow learners. We can't talk about recent events without also acknowledging the painful truth that some guests still experience discrimination. So see, I don't like this already because they're literally acting like the recent things that happen, that's the only problem. Once we deal with George Floyd, once we deal with Ahmaud Arbery, once we deal with Breonna Taylor, then everything is fine, everything is dandy, everything is good. No, it's not. And see, this is the problem, and this is what I'm talking about when I sit here and tell you it's very dangerous to have certain people being the ones who are teaching critical race theory and attempting to dictate to black people what critical race theory is, or about the history of the United States. These recent events in the United States do not have a determination of racism. These recent events are a perpetual culmination of the inception of this country and everything that has gone on in the country up until this current date. And I'm so sorry that it irritates people. They just can't handle it, but that's just what it is. I want you to understand that there's not one black person in Africa or one indigenous black person here in the United States that has an English spoken last name naturally. Our last names mean that your ancestors used to own our ancestors. If I meet a white person that has the same last name as me, it's not because we're related. It's because his ancestors owned my ancestors. And because of that, I don't even know what my actual last name would be. We still wear name tags of ownership in this country. And they just completely blow past that and think that, George Floyd. You know what I mean? Like, any white person can just walk up to a black person and say, you're still wearing my name tag. Like, we're still wearing the employee badge. Like, and it's not even an employee badge because we didn't get paid. We're still wearing the brand. You know how like cattle get a brand? Some fraternities brand themselves. Our last names, our first and last names, especially if you black, Latino, Haitian, you know what I mean? Those are European last names. Name tags, brands on the back of cattle. There's no one else in the United States who has a brand as their name. And I'm so tired of these people literally sitting here looking at me, calling me by my first and last name, completely not acknowledging the fact that that first and last name came from someone of their lineage that used to own my ancestors. You know what I'm saying? And you just want to sit there and they're just proud and and boisterous about it, unapologetic about it. Well, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You mean like Tulsa, Oklahoma? You mean like Wilmington, North Carolina? You mean like in Oregon, and then you get sued by people of color? Are you serious? So they like to package this in this nice, cute package. Well, you know, if the police just didn't shoot criminals, then everything would be okay. No, it wouldn't be okay. It wouldn't be okay. There's deep-rooted systemic issues that the politicians are too lazy and low IQ and negligent to deal with. And part of the reason why the country is falling apart is because of the low IQ and negligence of all of the politicians that have ever sat in any important office in this country. We don't have a lot of bright people here in the United States. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but yeah, we don't have that, okay? That's not in abundance here, okay? So now here it says we still have work to do. You still have learning to do too. And we're continuing to take action on our commitment to fighting discrimination. So their idea of fighting discrimination is giving $500,000 to the NAACP and Black Lives Matter. So they gave $500 to NAACP, $500,000 to NAACP and to Black Lives Matter for them to move to segregated neighborhoods. But they are sitting here talking about they spent this money to stop discrimination. Again, like, I'm confused. Another is sharing an activism and allyship guide that our Black Employee Resource Group prepared for our team, which references work from activists and experts in activism. We thought it would be helpful to share these resources with you as we all work together to become better and more active allies. When they say when we work together to become better and more active allies, they mean submit to them so that they can control the narrative. That's what that means. It's unfortunate, but you can never be allies with someone who doesn't completely understand your plight. You can be friends, you can have conversations, you can try to help them understand, but you can never be allies with them because at some point it's going to be their perception versus your reality, and your reality is non-negotiable, and they're going to constantly try to negotiate. They're going to say, well, didn't we do enough? We gave you $500,000. You gave Black Lives Matter $500,000. You didn't do it. Even if nobody asked for any money, you did nothing to detangle or uproot any of the ingrained institutes of racism in the country. You didn't start a petition to change Dead Negro River in Oklahoma to a different name. I know that really upsets the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world, but, you know, if it happened to be, you know, like Rotten Caucasian Cemetery, she'd be really upset. You know, it'd be anti-white and the tweets would never stop. Then you'd have all the gamers and then you'd have it'd just be ridiculous, which, I mean, you know, come on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is nonsense. This is one of the reasons why it's so important for Black people to break away from political parties, because you can't be loyal to political parties. The only thing that you can do is find little parts and pieces of things that political parties will do to advance your agenda and focus on those things, and the rest you have to do it yourself. We have to do this stuff ourselves. No one else can help us. This is what you don't understand. If you're at the bottom of the ocean and you have people at the surface cheering you on, but you're stuck on the bottom, that's great that everybody is cheering you on, but you're in that situation by yourself. You have to get yourself up to the surface in order to get the life raft. So that's the situation where we're in. We have to do something here. All right. So now it says another is sharing an activism and allyship guide that our Black Employee Resource Group, Black Airbnb, prepared for our team, which references work from activists and experts in anti-racism. We thought it would be helpful to share these resources with you as we all work together to become better and more active allies. Please take care of yourselves, stay safe, and solidarity, Airbnb team. I mean, like, this is just ridiculous. And then again, they keep bringing up the police murders, but they don't say anything about economic justice. They don't say anything about any of the freeways that are ran through Black neighborhoods. And they know that we're about to do a $1 trillion infrastructure plan where that's going to happen again, as you'll see in later content that I do, where all of these places are buying all of these places up that are the high crime areas, because they're letting these criminals loose in these high crime areas on purpose. I've been talking about this and telling you guys this, to drive down the real estate prices, and you're going to see a massive rebuying of land. All right. Injustice is something that exists in the world and is faced daily by many different types of people. I face it every time I write my name. I face injustice every time I write my name. My natural cultural name is not what it is. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, I'm not European. Clearly, I don't come from a English-speaking lineage. But certain people, the model majority, will sit there and tell me, oh, you know, you're just fine. No, what you think is that I'm supposed to be exactly like you. I'm supposed to fit your model. I'm supposed to do exactly what you say. And when you say be quiet, I'm supposed to be quiet. I'm not supposed to be able to be a man. I'm not supposed to be able to be aggressive. If I behave like a man, the dominant society will say that I'm aggressive. That's soft core buck breaking. Does this talk about this? No. Black people are not aggressive as people try to make them out to be. The normal idea that most of the population at large has is that the black people are supposed to be docile, silly, happy, and happy to do what they're told by them. And when they run into somebody like me, who's like, go sit on this and spin. Oh my God, he's a threat. Something has to be done about him. Because I'm out of control. And I'm going to remain out of control. That's what you need to understand. You're not supposed to be in control. I'm out of control, and I'm going to stay out of control. Injustice is something that exists in the world and is faced daily by many different types of people. For many black people, it ranges. So see, they don't even talk about this is how you know somebody that's not black wrote this. For many black people, it ranges from microaggressions, like a woman clutching her purse when approaching a black man, or a person telling a black woman she looks neat and clean, to death, either at the hands of the police or someone else who believes they are within their rights to invalidate a black person's life. Okay, let's start with how problematic this is. First and foremost, before we even make any contact with anybody, we've already, as soon as we wake up in the morning, we experience racism in this country, first and foremost. Now, Ben Shapiro, his voice goes up a very high octave, and he'll start talking fast, and his head will start darting around like a hamster, but he'll make absolutely no sense. And when you show proof and facts, he simply won't want to acknowledge it. And it is what it is. This is one of the reasons why we need to stop seeking validation. When those people start talking, that doesn't mean for you to stop talking. You continue to talk and you plow right through and show your evidence. This is like when you watch Dr. Richie. Like, I like Dr. Richie, but some things, I don't like. But, you can't like everything about everybody. But for the most part, I like the things that he says and does. That's why they always say that he's aggressive. He's not aggressive. Dr. Richie is no more aggressive in a debate than Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro will talk over people. Ben Shapiro will use run-on sentences. He'll be long-winded, way over his time, and it's just okay because he's saying things that everyone wants to hear. When there's a confident black man that doesn't bow down, that is literally terrifying. I terrify people. You know what I'm saying? I literally strike fear in the hearts of people. Honestly, when I walk by people and somebody grabs their purse, I just nod my head at them. That's exactly what you're supposed to do because you should be scared. You should be scared. And if you're not, something's wrong with you. Because if you listen to that last video that I did, it talks about how black people are supposed to be non-strategic. We're supposed to be silly. We're supposed to laugh all the time. We're supposed to be low IQ, live for the moment. We're not supposed to be planning. We're not supposed to be thinking. We're not supposed to be focused. Remember, the way that society wants us to be is literally opposite or is literally the way we need to be is literally opposite of everything that society puts in our face. So if society puts a little Nas X in your face, then what you need to be doing is you need to be behaving like, a businessman. Society made black people hate Donald Trump, but you should be an aggressive, gruff businessman that doesn't back down. Anything that will improve black people, society markets the opposite of it to black people to keep you from developing. Then they turn around and cry about the problem that they created, which is one of the reasons why we have to get away from the whole they thing, period. We need to start doing our own thing. And I'm not talking about no stupid historical black colleges. I'm not talking about no dumb stuff like Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about actual infrastructure, building, competing, building stuff. When people say black people don't build, man, that's a valid criticism. Think about that. We're not taught to do that. Then you got to ask yourself, who's teaching us? Then you got to ask yourself, why are we not teaching ourselves? I teach myself everything. I go to school and get a little piece of paper, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the stuff that I need to know, I teach myself that. No matter how hard it is, I don't care. I don't care if I got a migraine headache from the start of the day to the end of the day. I'm going to figure it out. If I got a million incomprehensible things that I have to do on my plate, oh well, I just got to do it. That's how we need to start being. If we don't start being like that, I'm telling you, man, the future is not going to be a fun place for people. Because we have stuff like this, Airbnb throwing money all over the place to organizations who are milking the money, knowing that the money is a sock prop that's not going to do anything for anybody. And then years later, when the post-supremacy era comes, well, I mean, look at the minority. The minority, because by then the dominant society will be the minority. The minority built this great country for us, and look at what it did. It continuously boosted us up over you all. And we came here and made it. So what's wrong with you? To have you thinking that something's wrong. But everything you're taught is counterproductive. Anything that comes for free, that doesn't come from someone else's mouth, that has your needs in interests in mind, is opposite. These people tell you to get involved in a political system that literally doesn't even acknowledge you as an ethnicity. It acknowledges you as a problem to the United States. The United States looks at us as if we're fleas, ticks, or lice. We are a drain on society. That is how voters look at us. That is how the politicians that they put in office look at us. Any system where we're immersed and surrounded by people who see us like that, they're going to do exactly what they do when they find fleas and pets on their dogs or in their hair. They're going to get rid of them. That's what happened the first time. There should never be a second time. Usually when groups of people go through traumas, it makes people stronger. It makes people have more of a will to thrive, to survive. But the problem is that this system that we live in, it's been going on for so long, and it keeps people in such a perpetual confused state that people don't know how to appropriately fight it. So what you see is people trying to find reasons to fight each other. This is one of the reasons why a black person will get upset and cause harm and kill another black person before they even attempt to verbally stand up to a white person. A black person is a step far out of the way. If a white person walks down the street, excuse me, sir. If I'm walking in the same path as another black person, they'll purposely stick their shoulder out and try to bump me and then possibly push me. You ain't see me coming? Why you ask me if I didn't see you coming? I never said nothing about your skin. You should have had that energy for that dude that just walked past. But that's the mentality. So it's gonna have to be a couple things that happen. People are gonna have to, the people that just don't get it, people are literally going to just have to separate from those people. and start building with people that do get it. And there's people that get it on all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? Like there's all different kinds of black people that get it. But a lot of times those black people was too busy fighting each other because of the system of illegitimacy and how we've been trained. When it comes to the system of illegitimacy, the secret societies that set up the global conspiracy, which the globe, don't make no mistakes, the elites, the global conspiracy is the system of illegitimacy that was set up to lock in the descendants of those founding fathers, the Freemasons, into a top position using black people at the bottom. Remember, black and white are colors of Freemasonry. The checkerboard and checkered floors are representative of Freemasonry. So they represent us as the black and they represent them and their descendants as the white. That's why George Washington has Freemason over his grave. And what's so funny is that those people even take that narrative and try to say, oh, you know, the elites. You should be thanking the elites. They set this up for you. They set up the DNA trust fund for you. Why are you crying about the elites? Ungrateful. Ungrateful. But those elites that they complain about, all you got to do is go look at the founding fathers. Go ask yourself why Washington, D.C. is set up the way that it is. Why is the Washington Monument what it is? Why do we have two twin towers in New York? Why is the Statue of Liberty where it's at? And why is she holding a torch and got the crown? They know exactly what they was doing. The global supremacy, the global European domination was the world conspiracy that all the conspiracy theories are about. Ain't no mystery. It's not a mystery. They know it. And anytime they talk about conspiracy theories, they're just laughing in your face. Like, yeah, we got them now because they think that we're all in this together. We're not. They talk about maritime admiralty law. Think about it. What white person was sold over waters, overseas? Maritime admiralty. Maritime admiralty law happened in the 1700s, and it happened with the Spanish Roman Catholic Church. That's transatlantic slave trade. They separated all the history to keep you in a perpetual state of confusion. Them yellow fringes on the flag don't apply to nobody else other than black people. We is the only people sold over open waters. We the only people that are property of the government. The indigenous people that were here, they're under federal trust responsibility. That's why they can't be touched by state laws. They can only be touched by federal laws. The tribes. They weren't brought over water, so they're not bound to universal commercial code. We still are property, not them. You know what I'm saying? You just sit there and listen to them tell about conspiracy theories all the time just because they want to get involved and be a part of everything, just like hip hop and every damn thing else. You know what I'm saying? Like, just tell the truth about some stuff. Like, yeah, I never tried to sit up there and be like, yo, I'm Vlad the Impaler's second cousin. No, I don't do that. How is any European gonna sit there and say that they're a victim of maritime admiralty law when it was Europeans selling black people over the ocean, over the Atlantic? Like, it don't even make any sense. But like, people don't put this stuff together. And like I said, everything that I said, you can go check it out. You can go look, go to DC, go to Pennsylvania Avenue. Look at all the structures. They all mean something. They all positioned a certain way, based all on ancient Babylon, Egypt, Sumerian tablets. You know what I mean? Because these people stole knowledge and they pass it down and pass it down and pass it down. And the people that they stole the knowledge from, they're using them to be the vehicle to boost themselves up now. All conspiracy theory talk. The actual conspiracy is European supremacy. The people in World War II that you're not allowed to mention because another group of people will come cancel you simply for talking about their history. They tried that. And they followed the American model. That's why they was doing eugenics. Anyway, I got on a rant. So here it says, if we are to advance the cause of racial justice, it has to be done both in the moments when we're outraged and in the quiet moments when there isn't a new hashtag born out of a specific moment of injustice. I mean, there's always a hashtag. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always a hashtag, but this is kind of like a little snide, like, you know, you need to appease these people when someone gets killed type comment. Like, I never like really like have been going in on hashtags ever when I talk about any of this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Purpose of this document. This document is designed to help people on their allyship journey and has been designed by Airbnb's Black Employee Resource Group specifically as a guide to how Black Airbnbs want allies to show up for them. I don't know why anybody wants any allies to show up. Me personally, I don't. And it references from work activists and experts in anti-racism. If they're not like Black people that actually experienced any racism, how are they experts? Like that lady that wrote that book, White Fragility, she's an expert. I mean, they not getting like Dr. Claude Anderson or like anybody of relevance or anybody that anybody actually respects. Because Dr. Claude Anderson will laugh at him and be like, what is this nonsense? Where's the money? Where's the citizenship rights? Where's the designation of a special ethnicity? That's what Dr. Claude Anderson would say. What are you talking about here? Now, I got a question for you. This is how you know that the United States is full of crap. If other white people immigrate here from another country, they have a different identity than the white people who are automatically here. Black people who come here, despite the fact that they are designated as immigrants, they're still black. They're just black. That kind of racism is just so ingrained into people's brains, they don't even realize that they do it. Being an ally does not stop and start during moments of convenience and inconvenience. I don't like the idea of an ally. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need no ally. I need people like me to understand what time it is and start grinding their teeth and digging in and doing what's necessary to knock down the tower. That's what I need. Like, I don't need no damn ally. Being an ally is a journey of commitment to understanding the dynamic real realities of marginalized people face, while confronting the privileges you enjoy have played in creating those realities. Yeah, I don't want to deal with none of that. I don't want to deal with none of that at all. Social privilege is a special unearned advantage or entitlement used to one's own benefit or to the detriment of others. Groups can be advantaged based on social class, age, disability, ethnic or racial category, gender identity, sexual orientation, and religion. So what I don't understand is like, how come this doesn't address the social privilege that people of color have? And when I say people of color, I'm not talking about black people, because black people aren't people of color. We're black people. We're talking about the people that white people don't. We're talking about Caucasians that white people don't acknowledge as white. That's what people of color are. So they need to make that distinct. Like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's a people of color. She's a white person that white people don't accept. She's a Caucasian that white people don't accept as Caucasian. See, it's different. There's a small percentage of black people who don't accept mixed people. There's a small percentage of black people that don't accept multicultural people. There's a small percentage of black people who have an automatic issue with immigrants, but it's not a dominant. It's not a majority. The majority of these people will look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez knowing that she is a Caucasian, European, Puerto Rican, and act like she's not. She's literal same phenotype, you know what I'm saying? Straight hair, you know what I mean? Smaller nose, smaller lips, you know what I mean? Just got a tan. Nothing about her like looks at all black. Possibly biracial. Maybe like second generation biracial. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? But white people don't accept her as white. I mean, her husband does. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he accepts her as, whatever he accepts her as because that's his wife. But other than that, you ain't getting into the party. You ain't getting into the party. They don't accept you. And what this doesn't acknowledge is that for some people, for many people of color, not so much black people, white acceptance is more valuable than money, neither of which are worth anything. If a white person is going to accept you, they're going to just accept you. You're just going to be cool. You just happen to meet a cool, nice, good white person. But you can't expect that from everybody. You can't expect that from a majority. And it's not worth anything. And that don't even have anything to do with, just you should never base your worth on acceptance when it comes to anything. People had that problem, like social validation. Even within your same race, like if there's a group of in-crowd people, you should never base your own value based on, if I can hang with the cool people. Like, it's like high school stuff. Like, I never wanted to be cool with the cool people. I'm just one of those, I just always been like one of those scrappy people. Like, I just, man, I don't need to be in the in-crowd, man. I got my own little space. I carve out my own little space. I'll make my own little area. Like, I'm good. I don't want to be a part of what you have going on. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime somebody allows you acceptance, they always have the opportunity to reject you. If you never fight for acceptance, then no one can ever reject you because you're not part of the acceptance anyway. So I always stay on the fringes. I don't want anybody's acceptance. I don't care what the hell you think. I do what I want. I live my life the way that I want. I keep it real. You don't like it, you don't like it. I ain't asking you to stay. You know what I'm saying? That's how everybody should be. Everybody should be that way. When you're that way, you're almost invincible because people just don't know what to do with you. And in order to maintain dominance, you always have to be balanced and poised, and everyone else has to be off balance and not know what you're going to do. You have to control the volatility. This is what I was trying to tell people about how they need to vote. Like, stop always voting down the line. Stop aligning with political parties. You need to start doing things strategically. Again, remember, strategy is something that they never want to see you do. That's the reason why they put that channel strike on my channel. Because the artificial intelligence picked up, this dude is trying to strategize. We can't have that. Because I'm going to do a video specifically about the hate speech criteria. And you will see that I didn't violate one rule of the hate speech. And then they made a decision for my appeal in less than 30 seconds. In less than 30 seconds. It is what it is. There are a range of ways to use one's own privilege to help others marginalized communities. At the start, phase 1 begins to be an ally when people with privilege seek to understand the experiences of the marginalized people and empathize with those experiences. I mean, like, that's not being an ally though. Like that's just being a normal human being. Like, if you have cancer and like you're tired or in pain, and I just say, well, how does your pain affect me? I don't care. That's you. You need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, put your wig on from being at chemo, and get your stuff together. Like, that just makes you an asshole. Most people will be like, well, yeah, how can I help? I know you're going through some things. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't being an ally. Like, that's called being a normal person. Like, that's like if you saw an old lady fall down and like, instead of helping her up, you're like, oh, you got your walker right here. Get out of my way because you're slowing me up. You got 2 legs, get up on them. Actually, you got more legs than me. You got 6 because you got a damn walker. Now move. Like, okay. But that's literally the baseline mind frame of 99.99999% of the population at large, including other people of color, towards black people. Why would you even want that as an ally? Like, that's not allyship. Like, that's just being a normal human being. Like, just having normal human empathy. The problem is that there is none. That's why you see all of the police killings. That's why you see Karens just act like they're insane, or, you know, just lie on somebody and make some stuff up, like Central Park Karen, who is a people of color. She made up that boy who was 14 in that hotel in Manhattan stole her phone. That boy was also a people of color, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was black and Latino, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't say any of that on the news though. You know what I'm saying? Like, his mom is Latina. But they didn't say any of that on the news. Like, your boy had to do some blacklight journalism to find that out. You know what I mean? At the start, phase 1 begins to be an ally when people with privilege seek to understand the experiences. Phase 2 begins when people leverage their own privilege to create space for marginalized people, where those people might not have been able to exist. See, phase 2 still allows these people to be in control. They create. I don't want nobody creating space. I'm gonna make my own space, or I'm gonna take yours. I'm gonna make my own space, or I'm going to remove you from yours, like how your ancestors did. Like, I'm not about to. You know, can you just give me a little bit of a crust of the butter biscuit? Like, nah. Even this is like ridiculous. You know, maybe we'll have some mercy on you, and, you know, we'll just give you a little bit of crumbs here. We'll create a little bit of a space for you. No, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work at all. No, sorry. I'm gonna need what I said I need, and if you're not willing to give it to me in a fair negotiation, well, then you'll just be without. Because, see, I tried to negotiate with you at first, but when I just take it, I'm gonna take more than what I asked for. So you know next time to negotiate with me. See, like, that's the kind of person I am, especially in those kind of situations. Oh my God, he's so aggressive. You damn right. You damn right. But that's why you really don't see too many people, like, people don't really come at Denzel Washington real crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I picked that up from him. You know what I'm saying? He kind of, you know, he a little bit, you know, he's celebrity-ish, and, you know, he's whatever, man. But they really don't press him too much, because I could literally see Denzel just, like, knocking a journalist across the room for asking him the wrong question, and then just laughing about it. Like I could literally see him acting like Frank Lucas, like, in real life, like being out somewhere with his wife and a journalist ask him a crazy question, and he just do that smile where his teeth coming all out, and he'd be like, did he really just ask me this? Hold my drink, babe. And then just blast dude in the face and be like, you know, I had to go get my ring fixed tomorrow. Come on, babe, they got the free cocktails over there, and just walk away. Like, I literally could see Denzel doing that. And that's how everybody should be perceived. Everybody should be perceived. No, there's boundaries of things that you do and things that you don't do. You're gonna treat me the same way that you treat somebody else that's like you, or else you're gonna have a really hard time until you get it that's the only kind of respect that I'll accept. Because I just won't deal with people. It's been a problem at work. You know what I'm saying? It's been a problem at school. I you know, whatever. Like, I'm not about to beg. I'm not about to, you know, kiss nobody's butt. I'm not about to do none of that. I'm gonna tell you like the way that I am in my YouTube videos is literally like, I got some people that know me, you know what I'm saying, from the hood, that come to my YouTube videos. When they watch this one, they'll write it in the comments. Yeah, that's exactly how that's how Rob is. I don't care. I'm not on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be the coolest person in the world with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, I'm not gonna not be somebody's friend because of the color of their skin or something like that. But when it comes down to that dumb stuff, I'm not on that. Yeah, I don't play that. Don't ever bring that around me, because we won't be friends real quick, and you will really walk away with some deep emotional scars or other scars. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, finally, in phase 3, one is actively working to dismantle the structures of privilege, even your own privilege, that keep other people in a marginalized section or a marginalized position. How do they expect these people to even understand what privilege it is that they have? Most of these people benefit from privilege every day and talk out the side of their mouth and say, well, it doesn't exist. They will literally just bypass the fact that their families grew up with a 400-year advantage and generational wealth. And, just whatever, anybody can do it. What about the people that come here from other countries? What about them? A lot of the people that come here from other countries are middle class in those countries. They're not dead broke. The dead broke ones are the ones at the border that they're trying to keep on the other side. Actions immediately, be an active ally. Like, I don't like that. I don't, it's annoying. Like the friends that I have, like my white friends, they're not no overly ally white friends. Like, they're just regular white people that are just cool. I don't need you constantly like, is there anything that I could do for you because you're black? Like, nah, like, you making shit awkward. Just be a normal damn human being. And don't be an asshole if we start talking about some race shit, because it's not gonna be me that brings it up, because I don't really like go down that route, you know what I mean, when it comes to dealing with other races. But if you want to have that conversation with me, you know exactly about the ways that I feel, so don't walk away with your feelings all hurt, acting like, oh, I can't believe Rob said this shit to me. Well, I mean, I don't know why you can't, you know what I mean? Like, you better believe it, but like, I'm not the one that'll like just bring that up. I don't be on that shit. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that, like, most people have no desire to even try to understand. So I operate knowing that is the baseline. So I operate doing what I have to do to be able to fight the system of illegitimacy in a formidable way on my own. I'm not looking for anyone to understand anything, because if necessary, then they can be made to understand. That's the last resort. But I'm doing things for myself and people that I'm cool with around me. You know what I'm saying? So then they talking about, consider watching the video of George Floyd. Why would you watch a video of George Floyd as your example of racism? Why don't you go get one of them black and white videos from the 60s and watch your great grandparents spray people up and down the streets in Atlanta, Georgia, and letting police dogs bite all on women and kids? Why don't y'all get the videos of that instead of George Floyd? How about get the videos of what they did to innocent men and women and children? Like, George Floyd is bad enough, but George Floyd was actually a criminal. How about the videos of where your fire departments and your police departments actually did that to little girls and had police dogs biting them? How about that? That's a little bit more graphic. That's a little bit better. And one of those people might actually be related to you. You know Derek Chauvin ain't. So then they gonna say, how do you kneel on a neck for 9 minutes? Like, that's common sense. You're just not supposed to do that. No, this is like going to some stupid extreme. Like, you don't need to, like, this is just dumb. This doesn't do anything. Like, and honestly, this still don't do anything, because all this is patronizing white people about not being natural racists. But all that's doing is improving white people to help them not be racist. Why are they getting the help? Why is Airbnb giving Black Lives Matter all this money for them to do classes for white people? You could go ahead and keep saying N-words and burning crosses at country concerts on the weekend. I don't care. That money from BLM should go directly to black employees, and they can use it for a tuition reimbursement program or use it for a down payment on a house or something like that. Why are you using this money to put into diversity training to teach white people to stop doing what they've been doing ever since they set this country up? They're not going to stop just because Airbnb gives them some damn in services. Like, that's not going to stop anything. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand, like, why there's not more pushback on this kind of stuff. The only kind of pushback there is on this kind of stuff is far right nonsense like Larry Elder. And Larry Elder is doing it for a political purpose that doesn't have anything to do with empowerment. It has to do with what his zaddies want. Talking about be an active ally, do not remain silent. If you plan to show your support on social media or participate in movements like Blackout Tuesday, avoid using hashtags related to Black Lives Matter. Like, these hashtags and locations can fill up the news feeds of people who use social media for real-time updates as they organize or participate in public demonstrations. Like this is just insane. And again, this don't help. Like all this is talking about support George Floyd, like all of these organizations that don't do nothing for black people down here. Talking about read these articles. Powernomics ain't on here. Dirty Little Secrets ain't on here. Ain't nothing on here by Neely Fuller Jr. Ain't nothing on here by John Henrik Clark. Even these podcasts, like these ain't nobody that I listen to. They ain't got like nobody that's notable. This is all this is right here is just a Democrat money grab. And that's one of the reasons why black people need to separate from politics. We need to use politics to get the little things that we can get out of it and use those things to build our own competing systems. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying the same thing. I'm telling y'all, man, go watch my videos all the way through to the end. You know why? Because we done with this one. All right. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's kind of long. Make sure you watch it all the way through to the end. And when you get to the end, make sure you click the links and I will catch you all on the next video. All right.
Because the world is a prison. And when you are a prisoner of war, you are a beggar. If you're talking to the prison master, you're begging. You can't go off somewhere and say, well, if he doesn't want to do what I want done, I can do this. I can go back to my cell and I can do this and I can do that. You got to remember, you're in the master of the prison cell.